Yes, guys. Welcome back to Know Your Opponent. Huge game. Saturday, 5:30. Tottenham versus Chelsea. Guys, in this video, we're going to be talking about our opponent in Chelsea. A little bit more in depth about what we'll be facing at the weekend. How Chelsea have been getting on. Looking at things like their performance stats, their expectations for the season. We'll be looking at both Tottenham and Chelsea's attacking metrics and how they kind of compare to each other, and how each team should play and approach this match on Saturday. We're going to have some predictions from the media and from bookies. Look at the injuries to both sides, predictive lineups, both teams' form. Also, a bit how Chelsea fans are feeling right now about their side. And at the end, I'll be giving you my thoughts and expectations for the match. Guys, please, throughout the video, drop your comments, leave us your thoughts. And also, I want to hear your predictions and expectations for the game also. No fence sitting, please. And just whatever prediction you give and tell me why. Let us know in the comments. Much appreciated. So, guys, please smash the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. And let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. So, look, where we're going to start off, I'm going to bring up this graphic on the screen. It's Chelsea's general profile. And it's going to cover their possession base, low block, conservative, and central play. So possession-based direct. The slider is closer to the direct side, meaning Chelsea don't rely on heavily sustained possession or intricate build-up play. Instead, they look to progress the ball quickly and vertically, often using transitions, forward passing or longer balls rather than long spells of keeping the ball. This reflects the teams that priorities territory and penetration over control. So the slider to the right in the middle suggesting Chelsea use a balanced defensive approach. This is the low block high press. They press selectively, perhaps initiating pressure on certain zones like a mid-block rather than constantly pressing high. This indicates that tactical flexibility, they can drop deeper when needed and still press aggressively in phases. Number 3 on the list is the conservative versus risk-taking. This slide leans towards the conservative side. This means Chelsea's approach tends to be measured and cautious, with fewer players committed forward and more focus on structure, shape, and minimizing mistakes. They're less likely to overcommit an attack or take too many creative risks in the build-up. Number 4 is the central play, wide play. This slider is far forward towards central play, meaning Chelsea prefer attacking through the middle rather than using a width. They build up lightly focuses on central overloads using midfield combinations. Number tends to progress through the centre instead of relying on wingers or crosses. This may reflect a team trying to control central areas and play through the lines rather than around them. So the overall summary of this Chelsea kind of general metrics is Chelsea's profile shows that they're direct rather than possession heavy, tactically balanced defensively, they're conservative in taking risks, and they focus on central progression rather than wide attacks. So in short, they're quite a pragmatic team, and they avoid overplaying, prefers going through the middle and pressing with a compact defensively shape as possible. So moving on to more stat matrix, we're looking here, which I'm going to bring up, is goals, XG total, XG, X goals conceded, and XGA, XG goals against. So what does this tell us? So Chelsea have scored 17 goals, so they're joint top goal scorers with, I think, a couple of teams in the league, Spurs being one of them. So, they haven't got any problems scoring goals. It also shows that despite not being overly possession-based, as you saw in the previous image, they are very efficient and effective in attack. Their conversion rate or final third execution is clearly strong. XG, expected goals, 15.62, they're fifth amongst all teams in the league. This means they're creating a good number of quality chances, but not quite the most in the league. The fact that they've outscored their XG, 17 goals versus 15.6 XG, suggests they're finishing above expectation, likely due to strong individual finishing or clinical attacking patterns. So the kind of kind of the summary of it is they're not overperforming drastically. A small gap of 1.4 goals over XG is sustainable. So this efficiency looks legitimate, not pure luck. Goals conceded, 11 goals, currently 7th in the table with conceding goals. They're solid, but they're not elite. They're keeping things relatively tight, but still allowing some vulnerabilities. And, you know, I've seen Chelsea play throughout the season, and I do think they can be got up. And they do concede goals. I know they haven't got their best starting back two right now. So maybe that's why. But yeah, definitely you can get amongst them, I think. So XGA, expected goals against, is 13.17, which leaves them kind of bang in the middle, 10th in the league. Their XG is 13.17, ranking 10th. This means they've conceded fewer goals than expected, implying good defensive efficiency, possibly thanks to some strong goalkeeping, last-ditch defending, or opponents missing their chances. However, it also indicates that Chelsea do allow decent quality chances, even if not many are being converted. So they give you chances, Chelsea. They definitely give you chances. So look, so the summary of that one is that they may be slightly overperforming defensively, and if the XGA trend continues, they could concede more in the future unless defensive structure improves. Interesting stuff. So the kind of bigger picture relating to this kind of these stats matrix is that they're direct and central in their style, and the stats show it's working in attack. Finishing efficiency is a major strength. They're taking their chances better than most. Defensively, they're solid, but perhaps benefiting from fine margins. For example, good goalkeeping or opponents missing good chances. And in summary of that, Chelsea are performing like a top 4 side in attack, but only a top 8 in defensive metrics. Effective, but they're not yet watertight. Interesting stuff, guys, eh? Really interesting stuff about how Chelsea are kind of performing this season. What I'm going to move on to now is both teams' attacking metrics, right? So I'm going to bring that up on the screen. You'll be able to see it. But before I do that, let's talk about Chelsea's kind of their targets this season. Last season, they finished 4th, qualified for the Champions League, won the Europa Conference League. And most people will say, look, Chelsea should be finishing around 4th again, or trying to improve on that 4th place finish. Given their young, improving squad, return to the Champions League is realistic and sensible, and is a kind of safe benchmark. They do need to improve their consistency, reduce the dips in form. Last season, Chelsea had patches of great form, but also spells of inconsistency. They want to avoid long slumps this time, a more stable league campaign, lesser losses, I guess. Just kind of been a bit more consistent week to week in the Premier League. They would like a kind of a deep run in Europe, the Champions League, and in domestic cups. Obviously, coming off the back of winning the Club World Cup. And look, trying to make some progress in that Champions League, and kind of what's kind of realistic for them, kind of if you look at just kind of reporters and pundits, fans maybe, they're not ready to challenge for the title, lack that kind of experience. Could they finish 3rd? Yeah, maybe, if they kind of get to grip with their form. Winning a domestic cup is definitely a target for them. They're still in the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, definitely got a chance, and they seem to be a bit of a cup team. And this is what I'm hearing kind of across the press, that Chelsea are more of a cup team. You just don't know what you'll get sometimes. Sometimes they can be fantastic. Sometimes they can be, and we all know their kind of discipline issues. They've had a lot of players sent off this season. And that just kind of shows that they are a young team and they're learning on the job still. And Maresca's second season there. obviously they're kind of constraints which kind of could stop them from achieving, these type of targets. So like kind of injuries, strength in depth. They are missing a key centre back. Cole Palmer's currently out right now. And as I said, it's that kind of consistency. If you're looking at the top clubs, I know this season it's all a bit all over the place, other than Arsenal, the only kind of consistent side. But they do need to kind of close that gap on the likes of City. I would say Liverpool, but Liverpool are really, really in a bad moment. But normally when after so many games, you normally start to see who are the most consistent teams in this league. It's still fairly early, but maybe by probably January, I guess, we'll kind of see what sort of teams are going to be up there. And Chelsea have got to kind of match that consistency of them. Obviously, another constraint is the fixture congestion. Being in all these competitions is tough, and as I said, they do lack some experience in there. So kind of realistic expectations for Chelsea is kind of finishing fourth, trying to win a cup, at least get to the semi-final, last round in the Champions League quarter-finals. And yeah, I think they'll be okay with that, and just kind of progressing, trying to better than last season. I don't know. Chelsea fans will kind of, they'll have their own targets and aims, but I just think that if you don't sign a certain players, Chelsea have spent so much money, billions, yeah, so much. If you don't sign like good defenders, they signed a couple of good forwards, more kind of on the young side, but there's nobody there who's going to get 20 odd goals, is it? Plus, I don't think. So I think Chelsea missed the boat out there with not actually going to get a real top class striker into that side, and they probably could do with one or two experienced players who have won things in other clubs coming into that side to help them. I do, and I think they've kind of missed the boat. But maybe it's a long term project at Chelsea. They're going the youth route, and maybe it's the sort of thing that they want. Maybe the board are setting a target, maybe next season or the season after, actually to win the league. Hopefully, with the team growing, playing alongside each other. Okay, so let's go on to this attacking metrics, guys, right? Let me go into this attacking metrics. Let's bring it up on the screen. So this is it. Tottenham versus Chelsea. Tottenham's on the left-hand side of the screen, Chelsea on the right. So goals, Tottenham 1.70 versus Chelsea 1.67. Very, very identical, right? Assists, Tottenham are 1.40 versus Chelsea 1.08. Spurs create more final passes and assists, which is interesting because it doesn't feel like that sometimes. Expected goals XG, Tottenham 1.16 versus Chelsea 1.54. Chelsea generate high quality chances overall. I kind of agree that, because I've been saying all season that Spurs not been creating quality chances. Shots, Tottenham 8.80 versus Chelsea 11.21. Chelsea shoot more often. Touches in the opposition box, Tottenham 19 versus Chelsea 18. Spurs have slightly more presence in the box. Key passes, Tottenham 3.40 versus Chelsea 2.75. Spurs create more clear creating passes. So what does these patterns mean for this match at the weekend? So Chelsea's attack looks higher volume and higher quality, more shots, and noticeably higher XG. That suggests they either get into better shooting positions or their shots are more in dangerous areas. They're more likely to create goal scoring opportunities overall. So Tottenham show stronger creative metrics and box presence, more key passes, more assists, and slightly more touches in the box. That implies better chance construction and sustainable pressure in a penalty area, even if they take fewer shots. So in short, Chelsea may pepper the goal and generate better chances, while Tottenham may rely on better link-up play and presence inside the box to create decisive moments. So how could this decide the result? So finishing and chance quality will be decisive. If Chelsea keeps up their shot volume and converts good XG chances, they'll be hard to stop. If Tottenham convert their higher quality chances they craft from their box presence and key passes, they'll threaten Chelsea. Tactical battles to watch, midfield control, and I do think this is such a key area on Saturday. Who's going to win that midfield battle? Because I do think Chelsea have got good midfielders centrally, Casado and Enzo. So look, Tottenham need to kind of watch that shots coming in against them, right? They need to, not let Chelsea just shoot so much because they like to shoot a lot. How well defenders defend the box. Tottenham obviously struggling to create quality chances, especially at home all season. Will they use a set piece? The game's going to be won in transition. Either side, who's going to get away from a fast break? Look, so what both teams should do? Chelsea, they need to obviously keep forcing shots and from good areas and move the ball to create high XG chances and limit Spurs' time in the box. Tottenham needs to play through balls and combinations to exploit the higher key pass assist numbers and get bodies into the box. Be clinical when chances arrive. Bottom line is, expect a close competitive game. Chelsea's higher XG and greater shot volume give them a slight statistical edge in chance creation, but Tottenham's stronger creativity and box presence mean one or two high quality moments could swing the result either way. The team that defends a penalty area better and finishes clear cut chances will likely take the game. So it's showing it's close, isn't it? That metric that we've seen, a lot of areas are very close. And yeah, it's intriguing, right? It really, really is. So the kind of key points from this game on Saturday is Tottenham have obviously got a bigger injury list than Chelsea. We're going to go through that in a second. Chelsea have got some absences as well, but they kind of perceived to have a bit more quality and depth, and especially in attacking areas. They've got options to come off the bench if players are not performing. And also it's that dreaded record Spurs recently against Chelsea. Chelsea have been winning most of the games, and that's got to stop Tottenham. Tottenham have got to get back and beating Chelsea. They really do. So kind of if we look at the kind of predictions, some outlets are predicting a draw, high scoring one, maybe 2-2. Others are favouring a Chelsea win due to Tottenham's injury list. Common bets are kind of 2-2 draw. One particular site says Chelsea draw. Given their kind of sharper attacking numbers, maybe they'll edge it. But it's a kind of, it's not a lot in it. I mean, just kind of if you're looking at the kind of trying to summarise this a bit, like injuries Spurs have got, the historical poor record against Chelsea. Chelsea, I think, have got a better attack on paper. But Spurs are going to kind of be desperately trying to end that hoodoo against Chelsea and playing at home and wanting to improve that home form. Crowd behind them. I don't think this is a real good Chelsea side, to be honest. I think they can be got at. I really do. They do have some very talented players. I've got to say they do, Chelsea, and they can hurt you if Spurs don't defend well. But I think if we can outfight them, out-battle them, then we've got a really good chance. But for Spurs to win, the kind of reports are saying that we need to be ruthless, organised, and the chances that we do we've got to be clinical. And as I said, and a lot of the kind of press is saying that Tottenham do or seem to struggle against Chelsea. Evening Standard are kind of predicting a Chelsea win, and the betting shop Coral are predicting the Tottenham to win 2-1 because of the home advantage. So look, it's slightly different predictions. Let's go over the injuries. Archie Gray's out till late November. Udogie's out early November. Romero early November. These two players, maybe we'll get some news today from the press conference, but I got a feeling they're not going to be ready. Ben Davies is out till late November. Solanke still not back yet. Maybe there's some news on him today. We need to play him. We're so desperate in that forward line. Basuma's out to early November, it says. Taki, late November. Kulusevski says early November, but I'm not sure about that. And Dragusin is getting closer as well, saying November. Chelsea's injuries, Badiashile is out until December. Cole Palmer's out, there's no date. Colwill, he's out for the season, isn't he, till next year. And Delap was given a second yellow, weren't he, on the game against Wolves, the Carabao Cup, so he's suspended. Look at the form. Let's do all competitions. So Spurs are, we can do it all. Like Premier League form is for Spurs is win, 2 draws, win, loss, win. form in all competitions is a bit all over the place for Spurs. Draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss. Chelsea's Premier League form is draw, loss, loss, win, win, loss. But Chelsea's form in all competition looks a lot better. Win, 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 loss, win. Predicted lineups, guys. What do you reckon? Give us your predictive lineups for the game. Vicario, obviously back in goal. I heard that he had a slight injury. It's going to be Porro, isn't it? Danso Romero's not back. Van der Ven. Spence, if the doggy's not back. Bentancur, Paulinho, Kudos, Bergvall, Simmons, Kolo, Mawani. That's kind of predicted lineups I'm hearing, guys. What do you think of that? You say that's what going to be like. What Simmons on the left for this one, Bergvall in the centre. Mawani's got to start up front. Chelsea's possible starting lineups is Sanchez in goal, James, Fofana, Chalobah, Cucurella, Fernandes, Caicedo, Neto, Santos, Garnacho and Pedro Neto. I think that's going to be very close to what Chelsea play. I really do. Chelsea results this season read like this. They drew at home to Palace on the first day of the season, smashed West Ham, beat Fulham at home, which I expect them to do. Went to Brentford, got a 2-2 draw with Brentford coming back late in that game. And Brentford are having a good season, so that is a good point. They lost to Man United after getting a man sent off 2-1. Brighton beat them at their ground, but again, Chelsea had a man sent off. Then Chelsea beat Liverpool 2-1, went to Nottingham Forest and won, and then they had that very disappointing result at Sunderland, playing them at home last weekend, and they lost 2-1 with a late goal. Mixed bag of results, but they're sitting 9th in the league, and it's typical of a young side. They're sometimes good, sometimes bad, and it kind of, as I said, their discipline has been awful, and something that their manager will be looking at. But looking at their kind of fan base and how they're feeling right now, the Chelsea fans, it's kind of a mix of frustration and over the inconsistency. There is kind of optimism into their kind of long-term project. Inconsistent in drop points, biggest source of frustrations in the team's inability to consistently beat teams they're expected to. With recent result highlighting the kind of defensive vulnerabilities and individual errors. Performance are often described as disjointed. And even after that game against Wolves, fans were very unhappy, calling their performance embarrassing. A lot of them talk about the lack of experience and the discipline. Young squad lacks experience and know-how to manage games for full 90 minutes. And the team's ongoing struggles with the discipline issue is kind of a major talking point for them. And they're frustrated. They are frustrated because they think they probably could be getting better results. They're not totally happy, Chelsea fans. They're not. But look, they're up there in the league still. One win and they're back in the top 4. So they just need to find that consistency. But hopefully not on Saturday. So guys, please leave us all your comments on this very in-depth kind of match review of the game. Now, I like to talk about how I'm feeling about the game. Now, I've calmed down a bit from the other night. Disappointing going out the cup to Newcastle, and I've heard everybody say, and injuries, Newcastle tough place to go. Spurs have to rotate. Can't keep playing Kudos every week. Can't keep playing Van der Ven. All the other teams rotated in the Carabao Cup too. Spurs no different. I don't care if the other teams rotate, to be honest. I wanted to win this competition and I wanted Frank to play the strongest lineup available, because I do still believe, and I stick to this, that if we had played our best starting lineup in that game, it's a knockout game. It's a chance to win silverware. Yeah, it's so important. Rest players against Copenhagen. This was a must-win game for me as a fan supporting Spurs, and Spurs, a lack of silverware over the years. I do feel Frank should have prioritised that game, and I will stand my ground on that. Woodward won, playing the likes of Moani up front instead of that donkey Richarlison, I think would have given us a better chance. Playing Kudos instead of Johnson would have given us a better chance. Playing with your best centre-back, who's also scoring goals at the back, would have given you a better chance. Playing Polina in his right position in central midfield, again, would have given us more of a foothold in the game. Newcastle didn't have their strongest lineup, and I think, and I stand by this, it was opportunity missed. Anyway, got to move on for it. We're out. That's what I say. And let's talk about Spurs, Chelsea, and my expectations from Spurs in this game. Now, Frank has made those, rested some players. Obviously, clearly, he's seeing this as such an important game for Spurs. It's a derby. We've got a dreadful record against Chelsea. Frank himself, as a manager, managed Brentford, has a good record against Chelsea. Now, Spurs' home form has been awful this season. That's got to change, yeah? It's got to change. Great performance away to Everton, yeah? Really kind of professional performance, 3-0. Got to start Mawani up top. Got to start. Simmons has got to do more. If he plays again, I'm happy to play him. We spent £55 million on him. He's got to be starting. He's got to be doing better in this game. It's going to be tough, yeah? It is going to be tough. But he's got to produce. Bentancur, Paulinho in their central pair, 100%. And that battle between them, Caicedo and Fernandes is going to be crucial. We've got to not give him time on the ball. Got to break him down. We've got to bully them. We've got to use our physicality. Set pieces again. It's going to be our weapon in this match, I think. Chelsea are not bad on set pieces as well. I think they're one of the highest this season in scoring set piece goals. So we've got to watch that at the back. I think this Chelsea side can be got at. Yeah, Maresca plays a very fixed style of play. Yeah? He doesn't have a plan B or a plan C. He likes to play the same way, winning or losing. Chelsea have got some fantastic players. Neto, rate him highly. They've got that Esteval to come off the bench. They've got Gittins to come off the bench. Garnacho, he's a good player, right? Up front, you got that young player from Brighton, Pedro. Good player, but not scoring a lot of goals. The number 10, is it going to be, is it COYS or Santos? Young players, again, you don't know what you're going to get out of them. Your players like James in there, Cucurella, always solid players, are going to create opportunities for Chelsea. Centre-backs can be got at, their goalie can be got at as well. Shots, he's got a clanger in him. I expect, and I'm sorry, and I'm putting this on the team and Frank on Saturday, is to win this match. And I'll be very disappointed if we don't beat Chelsea. Chelsea are not unbeatable. Yeah, they're up and down. They're young. They're inconsistent. Yes, they can be dangerous. We've got to watch it. Got to really defend well. But we got to impose our game on Chelsea. I hope there's a couple of surprises back from the injury list to help us, like Romero or Doggy. Even Solanke makes the bench. I don't want to see Richarlison up front. I do not want to see Johnson in the side. These players for me they're just not good enough. They're just not good enough. But I think in kind of as a fan, the players knowing how important this game is for the fans, that they will raise their level on this game, and it's gonna be a kind of, I don't care if it's not pretty football. Spurs just need to win at all costs. Of course, I'd love to see some really great attacking patterns of play, but it's a derby. Full throttle, go for it. Win the 50-50s, balls into the box. Kudos. We need him to have a good game. Mawani's got to step up. He's got to get into this team and start performing. And Xavi, as I said already. And look, guys, I as I said, I'm predicting a Spurs win because it's at home, because of the occasion, London derby, a chance to pull away from Chelsea in the league. But we've got to be careful. We've got to be organised. Got to defend well. I'm not saying it's an easy match at all. Chelsea have got a good chance. They got some dangerous players and can score goals out of nowhere. And Spurs have got to get a grip of this game. And the chances that we create, we've got to be clinical. So look, Spurs, I'm predicting to win, and I'm really expecting a fight from the side, and to really give it their all, especially resting players against Chelsea, against Newcastle in the Carabao Cup. Guys, please leave your comments. Please give me your predictions. Interesting to see what Frank says in the press conference later on this afternoon. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. It's quite a long one, but yeah, big game, big game on Saturday, and let's hope we can get a win and keep up that league, because the hard games are going to continue. Going away in the Champions League in the week, then we've got Man United at home. So yeah, all the games are coming thick and fast. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Please smash the like button. Please subscribe if you're new here. And as always, come on, you Spurs.